What kind of responses could we see in light of the latest developments?
You know, I thought looking at President Trump today and at that press conference where he said that they would respond, he didn't talk about military options. He just talked about responding. And I think the other thing to bear in mind was the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, put out a statement in which he said that diplomacy was still on the table. So that's been a pretty measured response from the US. We haven't heard what the US has to say about the latest statement out of North Korea, and that is that it has completed its nuclear program with this particular ICBM, which went 4,000 kilometers into the sky and could easily target the entire United States. So we've got to wait to see what that response is, but one would assume that if that's the case, if North Korea considers that it's completed its program, that means it doesn't need to do any more nuclear tests, it doesn't need to do any more missile tests, in which case perhaps now is the time when the door might open to some sort of talks.
I mean, yeah, because this was the end that a lot of the stakeholders wanted to prevent. I think in North Korea...
I mean, Donald Trump said that they would never get there, you know, do you remember at the beginning of the year he tweeted, right, they won't get there, they won't do it.
Then well, look, here we are.
It looks as if they have. And I mean, you've got to sort of be betting at this stage that they have got it. Notwithstanding, you've got some people saying, oh, they can't, you know, do the re-entry of the missiles out of the atmosphere, or they might not be able to put one of these heavy nuclear weapons on the miniaturized weapons on the end of a missile, but you know, you'd be a betting man to say that North Korea can't do that.
So, in terms of the market reaction here, David, we did see gold inch up. I mean, these are just whiskers, a tenth of 1%. What else could we see, perhaps closer to home, as it were, in terms of Asian equity markets and specifically Japan and South Korea?
Well, I mean, Asian equity markets are mixed. I think Japan and South Korea are in the red at the moment. We've seen a bit of a gain in the yen, but nothing particularly sharp. And once again, I think that's a reflection of the fact that we don't have a huge, great big war of words going up. You know, we haven't got Donald Trump scaring people, thinking that there's going to be fire and fury unleashed on North Korea, at which point North Korea would respond with the devastation of Seoul. All of these eventualities seem to be firmly kept in the ground at the moment. That's why we're seeing markets fairly sanguine.